and welcome to Let Her Bake. I am your host, Suzanne Baker. Um, Welcome. This is a new podcast. I know we say that not everyone needs a podcast or to take the mics, um, but I think I need this podcast for me, and that's good enough for me. So, let's go ahead and touch on what this podcast will be about. Um, like I said, my name is Suzanne. I am a 22-year-old. I'm turning 23 in November. I live in the Midwest. Um, when people tell you to tell you about themselves, isn't that like the hardest question? Like, oh, tell me about yourself. I don't know. Which sounds terrible. That sounds so terrible in my head. Like for me to say like, oh, like I don't know anything about myself. This is Toasty Boy. Sniff sniff. um, but I I am finding myself again in the moment at the moment. Um, I'm obviously fresh into the 20s, it feels like, but has it been a roller coaster? I mean, and I feel like it started when I was 18, but you know, I have learned so much, and those lessons I feel like are finally starting to click in some places. And the reason I really wanted to do a podcast or something, which I know it's not going to be perfect, and that's totally okay with me because something I feel like I yearn for is relatability. I feel like in this day and age, a lot of what we see online can be very unrealistic, for maybe a lack of better words. Um, and for me, it led to a lot of comparison almost, and even questioning what I actually really wanted out of life. I'm so sorry about the background noise. Had me questioning what I even wanted out of life. I'm sorry if that's too close. Um, because you get on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all these other things, and even some people like I've gone to school with, seeing them on Snapchat, like it just seems like nobody's well, to explain where my feelings come from. I When I was 16, I got my first restaurant job. I was working at a Carl's Jr. Hardee's situation, and then at another restaurant that was local. There's only like one in the state that I live in, and I was at that dine-in restaurant for 5 years, I believe. Maybe four. No, 5 years. I left when I was 21. I left after I was 21. Um, and it taught me so much. Serving, I felt like I was making bank, especially at the age I was at. At the time, the apartment that I was living in was only 600 for rent, and my boyfriend had moved in shortly after I had gotten it, so I was only really paying 300 for rent. It was beautiful, and I feel like I spent a lot of time thinking like, oh, this is just where you start, and you know, this isn't forever. It can't be forever. It won't be forever. Um, and of course, you see all types of ages working in restaurants, right? But I feel like a lot of us, especially there, would just like talk about like getting our big girl jobs. I knew a lot of girls in school who were just there till they got done with their nursing program, or I knew a girl who was saying she was going to go back to school and figure it out so she could leave, and all these other things. And you know, you sit there and you think like, okay, there must be better then. And I didn't hate serving. Like, I may not have liked the individuals or like who I had to deal with sometimes, but it wasn't that I hated what I did. I truly loved it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that type of customer service 100%. I enjoyed when things got fast paced. I enjoyed carrying a bunch of plates on my arm. It just makes you feel like a different person, in my opinion. I felt strong almost, just in so many different ways, mentally, physically, etc., etc. And after that, I decided I, I wanted to try something else. So when I was 18, I had planned to quit and go to college. So I went to Illinois State University for like 3 months, and then I dropped out. I came home and I went back to the restaurant. And he was like, if you leave again, we're not going to hire you again. I remember that so vividly. I left again, by the way, and I will not be returning. Again, not because I hated what I was doing. Heavy side eye to that place. Um, which is a whole nother story. We might get into that for another episode, like on patience. Patience is so important. Like, let me write that down. But anyway. So I came back, and I was a lot older now. This is like, so it was like 16 to 18, and then like 19, I want to say. I was finally 19, and then it was 19 to 21. So there was a break in there for a little bit. Um, and I came back and I was having an issue with the new manager. So when I came back, it was so funny because, are you laying on my pin bib? The GM that I had known that had hired me, he literally like the next day was like, "Oh, and by the way, like I'm leaving." And I like laughed in his face. I was like, "Okay, going where?" Like, and he's like, "I'm not joking." And I'm like, "I just got back. I just got back. What do you mean?" And so that transition led to me and this new general manager just not clicking. I did not like him, straight up. I hope he watches this and I hope he knows I'm talking about him because that's the type of person I am. Sorry, but and he knew it. I think he didn't like me either. I'm thinking that he was glad he accomplished his goal when I left. And I trust me, I left disrespectfully. Because I wanted him to feel it and I hope he did. You always hope that, but what do they always tell you? You're replaceable, right? Anyway, so in the mix of me trying to leave there, I had found a job doing preschool photography. So I was taking pictures. I would go to schools, and I mean, the life that that gives you is incredible. Again, didn't hate what I did. It was the company and in the background noise, the background things that made that hard for me. And now, um, after that, I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna try to get into like assistant teaching somewhere, or some type of job in a school, um, like cemented in that school because I went to a bunch of different schools in that area that I was hired for. And so I was like, I'm just going to use this to find a school, because they talk to you, they want to know about you. And I ended up finding one. I tried that, didn't work for me. Some of the other things I've done, I've served in like a senior citizen home. I've worked at different types of restaurants, a little bit of fine dining, things like that. Um, and then after the teaching thing didn't work out, I went right back to photography again. And I was there for like 3 seasons because, there's summer and winter breaks and stuff. By the end of that run, because I was just so mentally and physically exhausted, you had to wake up super early, lots of heavy equipment, and they didn't, in my opinion, really teach you about photography. You were just a pair of hands. So they threw. Can I say shit? I'm gonna say shit. I probably already cursed in this bitch. They threw the shit on the camera and then they hand you a camera and say, hold it straight. Really, they teach you bits and pieces here. But like recently, I just bought myself a camera, and I'm trying to teach myself because all I did was hold it and help kids pose and make them smile, which again, I appreciate. I'm grateful for that job, and sometimes I miss that one too. And then after that, I decided like maybe I just need something stable. I need a stable paycheck. I need stable hours, Monday through Friday. Even though, the photography and the school thing is Monday through Friday, i- school wasn't for me and photography just wasn't as consistent as I needed it to be. You would be unemployed in the summer, and an unemployment check was not enough. I was a heavy smoker for a while. I am in the process of trying to quit. And I believe it was last year when this happened and I was unemployed trying to get the job that I'm at right now. I didn't have money to buy weed. Like, which I'm not saying unemployment should be paying for your drug addiction or whatever. I'm just saying like I that completely flipped my world upside down. And so I was unemployed. I was only paying my bills and I was laid up in bed every single day and I'd be sleeping. I'd be napping through the day because it was, the withdrawals were hard, try to go to sleep at night and then you sleep through the day. And really that was the only way I could quit too, was just not being conscious to waste my money that I needed to pay bills. So I was like, it's time for me to find something, which I did, and I let the lady know, or my manager, and she was really kind about it. I remember like crying on the phone. I was like, I was so scared to tell you because I had come back, and I didn't want to leave. It's not that I hated what I did, but something inside me just was not right. I, I don't know, and I'm not. That's something I think I'm struggling with, trying to find the perfect job. Does that even really exist? You have your ups and downs and ebbs and flows and everything in life. And I think what it is with those jobs and those particular places that I was employed at, I wasn't willing to go through the bad or experience the bad because the good didn't feel good enough. And I hope that makes sense. Where I'm at now, oh my God, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I don't want to live with regrets. I'm trying to tell myself every single one of these is a lesson. This is a lesson. And I'm young. I'm young. I have to remind myself of that. I feel like I had to grow up really fast. And I started work pretty early. I had to get a worker's permit. I tried to start working at 14. Um, my first year of high school, and it's just been a long ride. I'm nowhere near the end, and I'm like, get me off this hella coaster. Like, this is hell, bitch. This is hell. So I'm now at a 9 to 5. I actually work 9:30 to 6. And it's like not for me at all. I would take photography back in a heartbeat over this, but I'm too embarrassed to go back for a third time. I think about what my GM at the restaurant said, like, we're not going to do this again. And I think they're valid for that. I think that they'd be valid not to take me back either. But I'm hot shit. Trust me, I'm good at what I do. That's never a doubt in my mind. My work, I put a lot of pride into. It does. My boyfriend and I had a conversation. He's like, one thing doesn't have to define you, and maybe it's unfortunate, maybe it's not. But my work ethic means a lot to me, and I don't want someone to maybe downplay it, or I don't want that to be where it's like, oh, I don't want to work. I absolutely do want to work, but I think when a career or a job or whatever is really getting to your mental health the way the one that I'm at now is, it's time to go. It really is. I was young with the photography and the restaurant, and I had these ideas in my head that there was something better out there, and I thought it was climbing the corporate ladder, truthfully, because I didn't and still kind of don't think that I can make my dreams come true. Like I said, I'm doing this for myself, but my dream is is rooted in something like this. Let's put it that way. It's hard to want to say that out loud when it's not the conventional American dream. I don't want to climb the corporate ladder. I don't want to be at this place for 20 years. I was getting congratulated on my 1 year, and I'm like, I don't give a fat flying fuck. I don't. I want it to be gone. I didn't want y'all wishing me a 1 year. Truthfully. So, and I'm so sorry if this sound is bad, guys. Like, that's just like a we're working with cheapo equipment here. I'm doing my best. But back to what I was saying. I'm really battling with that idea of chasing a dream and making it reality. You know, wake up and let's not leave it as a dream. Let's try to make it real. Recently on the Call Her Daddy podcast, Alex had Shonda Rhimes, which like I've been shoveling podcasts and all this information in my head to, I guess, vicariously live through other people almost. Same with like I've been watching Wicked and a lot of the behind the scenes, and I mean I've been crying my eyes out and smiling cheek to cheek and almost feeling like that same feeling in my heart that I'm getting from them through the screen. Um, I know that they have bad days and we'll get back to that, but like I was saying, Shonda Rhimes was on Call Her Daddy, and Alex basically had asked her, what do you want to tell people out there, 20s, I think, in the same predicament that Shonda was in when I think she was saying she was going to go to film school and things like that. And I think she was in her 20s. Sorry, I have really bad memory. The weed. Forgive me. I don't remember exactly how the question went, but what Shonda said really stuck with me. And she was like, this is your time. She's like, if you have a dream, if you have a passion, chase it now in your 20s. She's like, if you reach your 30s and maybe now you're cemented in a career and you have kids, it's hard to just drop all that and chase a dream, right? Move to LA or whatever. It's not profound, but it was so profound, if that makes sense, to just hear somebody tell me, like, chase them, chase them. This is the time. Chase them. Do it. Do it now. Quickly. Quickly. Go. Do it. Um, and so here we are. But, back to the Wicked thing, um, I know that they probably have their ups and downs and ebbs and flows and bad days. And even Cynthia, had mentioned in an interview how I can't remember exactly the scene that she was filming. It may have been Defying Gravity. I'm not 100% sure. But once everything was like a wrap, Ari and John were like, you need to go home and you need to rest. Ari was like, it is time. You're done. She said she ran right over to her and was like, get. And I want to love my work like that. Where I just can't stop. Where like my body's like begging me to stop, and I'm like more. And not for money, not for success or fame or whatever you want to call it. Literally for my own well-being, for my own heart and soul. Something I've been saying a lot is the difference between serving and what I do now. So I'm a billing representative now. Probably doesn't sound that bad. It's probably wonderful for a lot of people. I have a new coworker and she seems to love it. She seems to love it from where she came, the place that she came from. She seems to like this place a lot more, and kudos to her. Love that. Is that even the right word? I don't know. Good for her. Good for her. Great for her. It's just not me. And so I can feel my soul being drained from my freaking body, bro. Like, calls come in and I can feel myself like holding back tears, shoving tears down. Um, but what I was gonna say was the difference between this job and serving. I feel like I'm ruining people's lives, and I talked to my boss about it, and he basically just tells you don't think about that or don't put your emotions in it. And it's like I get that, I do, and I understand. And he even tried to like compare it to like a restaurant, when somebody like tips you, I guess, or doesn't pay for their food or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't care. Like I don't care. And I think that that kind of bothers me too, that I don't care. You are asking of me to care, and I just can't. I, as much as I want to, I don't have that in me. Versus, being personable with someone, walking up to a table and truthfully asking, "How are you doing today? I'm curious." Or, "This is amazing. Try this. Like, I love this here." Um, all those different things. Versus, getting someone's card information to pay a bill and them telling me the internet's too high. Or, we get a lot of customers yelling and screaming and cussing at us. And, you can put your emotions and you can put your thoughts out as much as you want. But depending on the type of person you are, I think that gets really heavy after a while. You know, I'm trying to get mental help. I'm trying to get therapy. I'm trying to figure it out. It's really expensive. I tried to use telehealth, and the lady basically told me get real help. Not saying telehealth isn't real help, but it was like a psych evaluation, and she's like, "Babes, you need more." She's like, "The weed, the caffeine use, like I can't just give you medicine. Like you need talk therapy." You, my mic went out, of course, and so I'm using a different one. I'm just gonna wrap. I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I've been yapping. I'm just gonna finish what I was saying. The therapist was like, "Girl, you need hybrid," and I'm working on the substance use. And I do plan to do some more talk therapy soon. So, you wish me luck with that, guys. But what I was saying is, I understand it's most likely how I'm looking at it. I have an interview today with a restaurant. I'm planning to go back to serving and chase a dream, like Shonda said. Alex was like, "All right, everybody's gonna start quitting their job. Shonda told you to," and I'm like, "Thanks for the push, girl." Um, because I felt for a while that maybe if I went back to serving, would that be considered going backwards? How can it be going backwards if I'm trying to propel myself forward into something I truly want to do? How? It's not. And I'm tired of this negative self talk that I'm allowing society, social media, people around me, I don't care who, bring into my life. I know what I can bring, I know what I can offer, and I want to offer it. I'm tired of living in this fear, and this fear of rejection mindset. I haven't even been rejected. But I had to burp. Holy fuck. Excuse me. So, I, I'm planning to go back to serving. I'm hoping to pay my bills, and I'm hoping to get some singing lessons. That's something I love to do. I've always wanted to not be scared to perform. So, I want some singing lessons. I want some acting lessons. I want to get into community theater. I want to show my talent because I think that I have some. Truthfully, I love to sing, and I think that if I really hone my voice and I perfect it, I can be good at it. I can make a job out of it or a career if I wanted to. I can make a career out of yap yap yapping away. We love that word, don't we? Um, and so that's what this is all about. I'm coming to just share my journey, share all the shit that I am going through to let you know you're not alone. You're not alone in it, and whatever fear, whatever doubt, whatever you're going through, it's time to wake up. It's time to realize the only person who's coming to save you is you. And if you don't start now, when are you going to? When are you going to? And I'm talking to myself here. Are you going to keep sitting in these jobs wondering when you're going to be happy? Or are you going to go chase that? Are you going to go chase that career that you want? That job that you want? It doesn't matter what other people think. If you think you can do it, go do it. I believe in you. I believe in you. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. So, thank you so, so, so much. If you have stayed this long, if you enjoyed Let Her Bake, um, honestly, it feels so good. I don't know if you can tell that I've enjoyed doing this, but it's felt so good just to talk, just to speak my mind, get it out. I can't wait to do whatever I do with it and just put it out there. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to give a fuck. Hope I don't get demonetized. I'm already thinking of it. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm making this on a weekend. Um, and please come bake with me again. Bye.